Morning, some Baha'i friends, mostly ladies, young ladies, they said, well, we're going to go do some proclamation this morning. So I went with them. Not far, there's a Washington Square Park. We went over there, and they put a table like that, and they put Baha'i pamphlets, and they start playing guitar and telling the crowd about the faith. All the years I lived in Iran for 20 years, I never saw something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, because in Iran, if you do ever something like that,
you'd be persecuted.
You're looking for getting killed because of the mob and those people. The reason is simple, because they have been heard from government, from clergy, that the Baha'is are supposed to be either spying for the United States or whatever government, whatever relationship government has that is not good with other countries. The Baha'is are accused of that. And I have so many stories to tell you that I think if I was going to tell you all, it would take many months practically. But one of my memories of Iran is this. We had a course that we had to take. It was mandatory. It was called Shariat, means like Islamic law. Or Islamic teaching. And I remember I was in this class, and a teacher and a student who was sitting behind me, he asked a question. Our teacher was actually a clergy. With a turban and so forth. So the student asked, teacher said, Mr. Bakhtiyari, I want to ask you this. Is it allowed for a Baha'i or a Muslim to marry a Baha'i? So the teacher kind of paused a little bit, and he said, well, I don't know if I want to answer that question, because there may be Baha'i in the class. So if I say that, and it might hurt their feeling, And so the same student said, no, sir, you don't have to be worried about it, because this is a Muslim class. We don't have any Baha'is. And it was like his own idea. So it kind of insulted my feelings. So I got up and I said, just for the information of the class, I am a Baha'i. But of course in Iran, usually people are not outwardly like that. But we happen to be, my parents, from a tribe in northern Iran. It's called the Sangasar. The Sangasaris are very much known for being brave and not wanting to take anything from anybody. So I felt like I should let them know. But then I remember when I got up and I told the class, for your information, I'm a Baha'i. The same student grabbed my shirt from behind him, shoved me down to the seat, and he said, no, sir, he's not a Baha'i, he's a good person. I know him, he's a good person, he's not a Baha'i, So anyway, then I told the teacher, I said, there's no problem, you can answer the questions, but then I will appreciate if you give me some time
to answer the question.
So then the teacher's answer was this. He said, it's okay for a Muslim man to marry a Muslim woman. But it's not allowed for a Muslim
to marry a Baha'i.
To marry a Muslim woman to marry a Muslim man. So that was the answer. But then the students asked other questions and this thing. So then he said, they start saying like about the Tahara, and then he started actually insulting, saying that they had like a feast in the Badasht, and he made it sound like they were having not a spiritual meeting and stuff like that. I know. So then he said the British and the Russians, they wanted to cause division in Islam. So they created this Baha'ism, they call it, which is like insulting word, meaning it's like communism, or they make it sound like it's a very like a
bad thing.
So he said they basically did that so that they create division in Islam, I mean, the things that is just absolutely not true, and it's just totally false. So anyway, he said all of this, and then I said, can I respond? He said, sure. So I got up and I said, I already knew the psychology over there. See, in Iran is as such that a clergy, they do that oftentimes. They quote from the Quran. It's in Arabic and so forth. So as soon as I got up, I started quoting the Book of Certitude. The Book of Certitude, the first paragraph is actually in Arabic. And it says, the one that says, no man shall attain the shores of the ocean of true understanding, except he be detached from all that is in heaven and on earth. So I quoted that in Arabic. And it was like very impressive for the students, and then saying that I'm responding in a, because a lot of them, they don't understand Arabic, what they see you're speaking in a different language and everything. So anyway, but I made it very simple. I said, frankly, the things you mentioned about Baha'i faith is so far removed from that religion, and the Baha'i faith that I grew up has really nothing to do with this thing that you said. So rather than dwelling on these things, I just tell you what Baha'i faith is. So I start telling them about the faith and quoted from the hidden words and just the things that was very beautiful. And I said that, and toward the end, it was about to be done, and the bell started. So the students, they started clapping. They said, "Bravo, that was great."
That's all right.
Yeah, they really supported it. They came to me. They said, "You really responded." And then one of them said, "These Baha'is, they know 5, 6 languages, and they know how to respond." So anyway, this continued for like several weeks. Several weeks continued. And the same man who started it, it was a Tabrizi, we call him, which is from northern Iran, the Tabriz. And then one day I came to school, and I see all the class, they're like very quiet, and nobody talks to me, and they have like a newspaper in their hand. So I asked Tabrizi, I said, what's going on? Why doesn't nobody talks to me? He said, well, you did it. You did what you wanted to do. And I was like, what did I do? So he gave me the paper, and I looked at the paper. Mr. Tabriz, Bakhtiyari, who was the clergy, just a few days before him and 4 other clergy, they had been in a little Volkswagen, and they hit like electric pole.
Oh, man.
And they were all killed. So he thought that I have actually prayed, and in his mind that I have prayed. That's why he was saying.
For them to have an accident.
For them, because he's insulted the faith, so as a result they have all died. And so all of a sudden something came to me that he's gonna go tell the other students about this, and they're gonna, be resentful and angry at me and so forth, and possibly thinking about causing harm and so forth. So all of a sudden this came to me, this old thought. All of a sudden I said, Tabrizi, if you go tell this to other people, I will pray the same thing about you.
He didn't tell me, did he?
I tell you, he shook my hand and said, we're friends. Never mention that anymore. But that really did happen.
Yeah, that's all right.
I tell you, so the stories are really many. If I tell you all, in fact, I had some of the relatives and friends, they said, really, you should write a book and make a collection of all of your experiences. Because I have a lot of teaching experiences. Another one I tell you just quickly.